All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first SEO news video with my co-host Casper. Who'll introduce himself perhaps a little bit in a little bit, but yeah. So today we're going through the last week's SEO news that I've been gathering, me and my colleagues. Not super fancy. This is just a sheet we tried to categorize them a little bit and good to know, minor news, and must read. We also try to categorize them in another sense here. And yeah, just a little bit of context, a link, etc. I will try and add the links and context in the bottom description of the video. But yeah, it's really important that we also talk about these news. So let's just jump right into them. And the first one here is an article from SEO Roundtables talking about Google demoting content sections, starkly different from the rest of the site. I think something has been brought up like this a year ago. I think I remember covering this internally. So essentially, yes, if you're selling watches and you start talking about jeans on one section of your website, might not be so good. I think this is related to spam. So if Forbes, why the hell is Forbes ranking for best toasters? Is my question, and I think Google is trying to tell us that, but I don't really see it happening, especially not for really big websites. What are your thoughts?
I agree, and also with what you remain or say about the spam. I think you covered it as you say a year ago, also in relation to spam, and it is really just to not have one website covering everything. I think what we can use this for is that when we strategize towards topic clusters and all that, there will definitely be a limit for when we need to stop expanding that topic cluster, because right now what we could always relate it further and further with internal linking into something, and yeah, watches could suddenly turn into jeans or something completely different, right? And that's what Google is trying to stop here. We're trying to kind of keep our eyes on the price, I guess, like not to just be spammy, but actually provide some helpful content. And yeah, I think it's something that we need to look into when we actually create these topic clusters and say, okay, is this too far away from what we initially started with?
Yeah.
And is this still something that's related to the company? Maybe we should start another segment on the website, because what this
Subdomain.
kind of also, yeah, a
Subdomains are
subdomain
good
maybe,
for
yeah,
that. Or
something.
buy a new domain. If you want to sell jeans, just buy jeans.com and then stay on the watch.com for watches. You can definitely
Exactly.
expand. I don't think that's bad. And you can have added value
Yeah.
by owning two different domains as well. But
Yeah, exactly.
again,
And I think
oh
one
please.
thing maybe in regards to this is that it kind of contradicts what Google have previously been saying, like that you don't necessarily need to go into niches to be able to rank and stuff like that. There is, I think that might have been what you covered a year ago or something, like John Mueller was saying that you don't have to be into niches to actually be ranking, and you can still provide helpful content despite having multiple different segments on your website. And yeah, jeans and watches can still fit together. That was kind of what the essential message was a year ago, but not right now. We're kind of saying,
Yeah,
yeah,
this sounds
the
more like
opposite, I guess.
Google just saying, "Hey." It sounds like it's kind of like we know we're kind of spamming a little bit with Forbes and other things, and it sounds like a PR stunt. We take
Mm.
everything Google says with a grain of salt, and yes, they are liars, of course, but it's I don't think it's evil. It's more they can't tell us everything behind the scenes. So yeah, but still a pretty good takeaway. Like kind of stay topical within the what the client or website is selling. If you're a large e-commerce, you also have a lot more URLs, and Google will try and look at those sections. So yeah, yeah, I don't think it changes that much.
I don't think it will affect a large e-commerce
No.
for that matter. It would more affect if you have like a very niche product and you want to go expand that. And yeah, try to maybe, if you're not selling jeans, don't write about jeans,
Yep.
I guess.
All right. And the next one here, quickie, Google AI overviews, which is the little AI search box or whatever that's kind of giving us AI results in Google. It's expanding to new countries. None of them are EU yet. I know that, well, technically UK is not EU anymore, so we will not see it. We're me and Casper, well, we have a lot of EU based clients. So yeah, but still a very long list. I'm not going to go through them all. You can see them right here in the link. It'll be in the description as well. Next up, we've got Core Web Vitals documentation has been updated with new info on INP scores, specifically speed measurements related to desktop versus mobile. They're kind of just justifying why well, their focus is on mobile, which is also the most constrained device in terms of hardware. So that is why you might see it might be unfair for desktop because we have some better hardware, better connections. So they're kind of trying to average out those measurements, basically saying, well, this is a speed and this means poor. And they are trying to really create an average across the board, which is not really fair, but at least it explains it a little bit in depth, in case you were wondering.
So the question to this, right?
Yeah.
How much do you think this will actually affect how we work with INP? Because I checked a couple of the clients when I saw this news, and I haven't seen anything changing that much. And it's mostly just documentation of it. I know, but I haven't
Yeah.
seen any major changes
They're
in
not. They
INP.
haven't changed the way they measure. Like they still have a. They still say this is poor, this is could improve, and this is great. That hasn't changed. They're just explaining what that actually means now a little bit more. That's all. What it tells me is that if we're looking for INP issues, we should start with mobile because that's usually where we see the biggest. And when we fix it on mobile, it can sometimes go over to desktop depending on how different the sites are. Like
Yeah.
I just did this for an unnamed client, and we figured out the cart when you were opening the cart to the side. That interaction was really the one that was creating the highest INP score because INP takes the worst interaction and that's your score, which is also you could kind of call that unfair, but hey, and and so by fixing that on mobile, it was really long waiting time versus on desktop. But by fixing it on both places, it was the same module in a sense. So he said the developer said if we fixed it on mobile, it'd be fixed on desktop too. So yeah, just start on
And I think
mobile.
it goes into the narrative about always look at it from a mobile first perspective, I guess, from a
Yeah,
technical
yeah.
perspective.
Depending on
It's been the
who,
narrative for a couple of years now.
well, depending on your business, I know there are very few
Of course,
businesses
of
where it's
course.
like really high desktop views, really high people interact with the website on desktop and not on mobile. But yes, start on mobile. Design your website for
Yeah,
mobile, then for desktop, which is something
yeah.
we didn't used to do, if I remember correctly.
No, but it's been a narrative for a couple of years, and I think maybe the opposite goes for mostly B2B clients, I
Yep.
guess.
Great. Next up, we have from Grey Dot, which is another agency I never heard about actually. They have this article on, well, breaking down how we can use publicly available data to quickly and easily gain insights in consumer demand, engagement, etc. So they're using tools like Apify, Gummy Search, SparkToro. I think we get questions about like large market trends, etc., and we have a hard time answering those. And I think this might be a good place to start. So just a really nice guide here. I can see you have a comment on this. Another acronym. Yes, another acronym.
DMI,
Uh,
data marketing,
yeah,
some.
we could mention LV. We've just publicly launched our own tech stack tool set for measuring. It's mostly focused on paid, but yeah, we're doing a lot of data analysis, data gathering with
I
that.
think it
So,
could be nice to have that in LV at some point. I guess.
but yeah, sure. Um, Great. Next up, oh yeah, this one is a biggie. Oh my goodness, where to start with the Google Creator Summit, or maybe there was a few other names I saw, but yeah, it's essentially Google invited some creators, content creators over, and I think again trying to publicly show that okay, we understand search is not doing super well. There's some spam results. They removed the last head of search. I can't remember his name, but he was dubbed the guy who killed search. They removed him, put in another position, essentially saying you did a bad job, and they've put somebody new in. I think they're just changing the direction in terms of okay, we actually should make search better, which we can tie into a launch of SearchGPT, which will be coming up here. But again, not going through too much detail here, but yeah, feedback on Twitter was not super good. Uh, the big quote here was Google mentioned that your content was not the issue, and that kind of confused site owners. Well, that's all we really create is content. I personally own a website on the side as well, and it's only content. There's nothing else, and I try to make it really good. And if I see bad content outrank me, sorry. Well, okay. So what else do I need to do? It could be PR, backlinks, but still kind of confusing. Google also mentioned there's an upcoming update. Again, um, they said that the sites hit by HCU, so helpful content update might not be touched. So again, we can just wait and see here, but don't expect a recovery if you've been hit by that helpful content system, so to speak, which kind of identifies if you're helpful or not. There's a really good summary here as well. We'll link to it in the description as well. So just have a look at that. Very interesting event. maybe hopefully a sign of where Google is going in terms of priorities and PR. And next up, we have a great guide here on AI overviews in Google for local search. Pretty much all you need to know right now if you're asking those questions about AI overviews and local search. Again, if you're in the EU like us, meh. But US and other big markets still are getting this. So, have a look at this. I can see here there's a comment from you. AEO, another acronym.
Yeah, I'm gonna comment on that a little bit. It's the new shiny object in the world of SEO, I guess, but we'll get to that
Oh,
in
yeah, okay.
lower
Oh, I see.
news
Yeah,
here.
I see what you're saying. All right, okay. Uh, all right, next up here, Google AI has also quietly been releasing an SEO consulting service for free with, so essentially Google's Gemini 1.5 Pro model. It can provide free SEO recommendations, and it was a really long, good post on Twitter here, which there's a link here too, and the post basically talks about, well, first of all, the results of this, how generic the answers is, of course, um, and it kind of goes into the future of us as consultants, and it was interesting. The key takeaway here, at least, was that if there's something we're doing that's very repetitive and easy to do, we should probably try and automate it because it will become automated in the future. And then who needs someone who can only do repetitive automatic tasks? But I think our careers are safe because whatever recommendations it's giving us, there's also prioritization, there's creative thought process. I think SEO is way more creative than people think. Programmatic SEO, it doesn't catch all of these things. I think so. We're far away from being replaced. I just find it kind of curious that Google would be giving these advice out. I think that's a bit counterproductive.
Yeah, it is a bit funny, but yeah, I agree with our career. I'm not really threatened by it, I guess.
No,
Also
no.
because like if a client uses this, it's still they still kind of need to interpret it, and there's still 250 different ways they can interpret it, and we might have a much better foundation given the experience we have with SEO and what we've been working with different clients and stuff like that to actually interpret
Yeah.
the output or in the right way. So I guess like there will always be a need for someone who understands the logic behind SEO to actually interpret the output from an AI,
Yeah.
no matter what, until the time comes where there's actually a robot sitting next to me, and
Well,
or
or
maybe you're
just
speaking to a
reaching
robot here who's
singularity. We might reach singularity where it can actually think
at
like
some
us,
time.
which is, we'll see.
We're not there yet, I
No,
guess.
no. You can no. Thank God. I'll post my summary of the post in the description, and you can also read his longer version on Twitter. Quite a long Twitter post there as well. Pretty interesting. Good bedtime story or subject, a topic matter for a first date if you want to scare her away. Uh, Great. The next one here is really cool. It's a free tool, a free Chrome extension that can help assess updates and add annotations in Search Console. So when I open Search Console, you immediately see, oh, there was a core update, there was a search event where there was some indexation issue, and it just adds them directly onto the screen, which is really helpful. I think you can turn it off pretty easily as well. And you can even add your own annotations. So maybe you did something for the client, maybe something else happened. So yeah, just really a no-brainer here, I would say.
And I read as well. It's actually a really good one, and I read as well they are enhancing it so that you can do it site-wide. Right now, you can do it on a page level, the notes and stuff like that. You can do it on a page level, but you can also they're putting into the extension that you can add notes for a site-wide effect. So meaning that if you did something technical or put something that was
Oh, okay. So,
site-wide. Yeah,
oh,
right now it's more okay. This is when I published. This is when I changed. From
oh, so on
URL to
only for
URL.
page. Oh, oh, okay, I see. Yeah, it would be nice to have like a site. Yeah, okay. I thought it
Exactly, and
was
they
only
they're
on site.
putting no, they're putting that into the extension.
Oh, cool. All right. Well,
So
good. They listen to someone.
yeah,
Great. And the next one, yeah. SearchGPT is now live, baby. Uh, we will compare and try it out, and we'll try and follow all the analysis and whatever everybody else is saying. And so we will share that in the upcoming videos. All I can say now is this. I think it's been on the board, or OpenAI has been talking about SearchGPT for a while. The fact that it's out now, Google should be fearful because if this is great, then they might have a problem, right? Because if I remember correctly, Google, OpenAI and ChatGPT specifically did not take a huge portion of Google's user base in terms of searching for things. That wasn't the case, although it might a little bit. So Google probably reacted quite harshly and well, we need AI overviews, we need AI everywhere. The fact is, it didn't really hurt them too much. This might. And it's just a sign of change. And the fact is, in the next one here, you can see somebody has been comparing SearchGPT with Google Search, and mostly for those affiliate searches. So best XXX, best whatever toasters. Lily Ray did a nice little post on that. It seems like SearchGPT is much better. So Google will list forums, a very very obvious spam site. And SearchGPT is actually mentioning sources like Healthline, etc., like really like top of the line website. So perhaps not perfect, but better than Google. That's not good, Google. So they should be scared, is what I'm saying.
The funny thing is that SearchGPT did exactly what Google was trying to aim for doing with the AI overviews and SGE and all of that in the US, like what they actually got like try to, and maybe a little bit prematurely set out to the world, and there was a lot of bugs in it and all of that. But what they initially tried to do was to create these sort of big overviews that was AI generated from all the searches in Google, and that's what SearchGPT is actually doing now, and they're doing better than Google could ever do at the time. And I think it's interesting, and it also puts into okay, it wasn't maybe the best business idea. Now I'm not a businessman for Google necessarily, but it wasn't maybe the best business idea to just like prematurely put out Google or AI overviews at the time when they did, because it seemed like it was more forcefully put out, like it was.
Oh,
It was a
it
sign of
was.
stress
It,
instead
it
of it was
was.
actually, and it was.
If
Yes,
we
definitely.
if we scroll up, this has news from 2024. If we scroll up, there's developers and people who worked at Google who said they were just forcing all AI projects as like oh my God, OpenAI is big now. It's actually popular. They were just pushing all AI projects as fast as possible. It seems like
Exactly.
AI overviews has gotten better now a little bit, but I still think it's not going to revolutionize search too much. I think a good search engine with good snippets and good interaction is better than the AI overview. And we can get into the whole discussion of creators. Just why would I create content if Google is just taking it, rehashing it, and showing it, and I don't get clicks, I don't get nothing. So yeah, that's a big issue as well, and it costs them 100 times more as well to generate than just normal results, search results. Be aware, SearchGPT is not just an LLM or like an AI. It's actually using tools in the background, and Bing is one of those tools. So it can definitely use Bing as a search engine, gather the information, and then start working that information into a result, right? Like you can say, oh, we've got 3 different sources. They all say the same, which is actually kind of what you want. That's what you're doing. If I'm searching for best gummy bears or something, or best toaster, I would probably look at top 5 results, see the tests, and etc. And if it can do that for us, that's great. Although it is still rehashing content, which I'm a little bit against. Who is getting the credit here, right? Is affiliate dying, etc.? That's a problem, I think.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Affiliate, I understand, but SearchGPT is still better at actually providing the sources to the results, as I've seen it at least,
Yeah,
than Google, like AEO. That's what Google was kind of struck down on at
yeah,
the time, was that they provided a lot of information that was AI driven. It was based off something on the website or on Google, which was not
no,
acknowledged at all.
copyright.
So they were struck down by that. And SearchGPT, as it seems right now at least, is giving actual sources to their information. It's giving actual like credentials to some other websites and links as well, as I've seen it, at least in some of it, which makes it more like it makes it better for such. You're not stepping over someone's foot like by just taking
Yeah.
their content and not giving them credit,
All right.
which Google initially did. So
That's
that's a good
good.
thing.
Watch out, Google, is what Casper is saying here. Watch out.
Yes, definitely.
Great. All right, let's move on then. There's a quick one here as well. Google Chrome DevTools adds advanced CLS debugging tool. CLS is the cumulative layout shift. It's a Core Web Vital score. It tries to measure elements that are moving when you load a page, which is super irritating. You have your text and then boop, suddenly it goes down. You want to press a button, it moves. Terrible. Nobody wants that. And yeah, the Chrome Canary has Canary, sorry, has added a new layout shift culprits feature, so you kind of identify them really, really quickly, and you can replay those layout shift as well. So yeah, really, really cool. Easier to debug. I could do it before, but I think we're just trying. It's a little bit more user friendly now for non-developers as well. And then my final one before I pass the mic here, Google updates the crawl budget doc for large sites, with differing mobile and desktop pages and links. It's minor issue here or minor change, but yeah, Google is saying it's best practice to have all links present on both mobile and desktop versions. Voila. And you have two here, 2 rows for yourself, Mr. Casper.
I have two rows for myself, exactly, and they're both about AI and like AEO reviews and all that. But we'll get into it. So the first one here is that when we look at AI reviews, there's been some studies around what's actually shown in AI reviews, because as we briefly mentioned before, there was this whole issue with the links and actually giving credentials. They started doing that now, but what we see now is that the cited domains in AI reviews or the top 3 are YouTube, Wikipedia, and LinkedIn. YouTube and Wikipedia, what a surprise, is Google owned, LinkedIn and all that. So, but what it gives us is basically a foundation that SEO is not just a website anymore. So if we want to be ranking in search engines and all that, we need to expand our scope in SEO. So we need to go into social media marketing, look into, okay, how do we actually, for instance, have a B2B company, a B2B client, how do we utilize LinkedIn? How do we utilize YouTube to actually be ranking in the search engines instead of just relying on written text as we've been not necessarily doing completely before, but what has been the general basis of SEO in the past, like looking at website and how we can optimize the website. Now we need to think about it more from an omnichannel perspective. So we are working into how social media marketing is overlapping with SEO in general, and content marketing for that matter. So how is everything tied together from an omnichannel perspective instead of just a multi-channel perspective?
So,
I think it's
for
a really
example, like me posting this video on YouTube, then also posting it on LinkedIn, then also posting it on other places, et cetera, maybe on our, company website, precisedigital.com, where we both work, by the way, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, again, that kind of expands the efforts. I personally do it myself, where I do watch reviews on the side, on a watch blog, and, my text will rank, but then the video will rank as well. So now I have 2 impressions. Not from my website though, but from different platforms. So really important to take note of. Yeah, good commentary.
It's interesting, and we're definitely going into it, and we just see that the AEO reviews actually portraying this in the overview, so in the results here, just emphasizes the point about it. So
yeah,
we need to expand our vision of SEO to multiple channels rather than just the website.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Then the last one, really good one, and it's the new shiny object that we talked about before. It's AEO, so Answer Engine Optimization, a new acronym.
Oh dear.
Another acronym, Answer Engine Optimization. And what it basically entails is that how do we optimize towards SearchGPT? How do we optimize towards AI overviews? These answer and get a result sort of LLMs and AIs. And it's a really good guide about how you basically do it. First, I think you need to actually understand what AEO is. So go in and read this. But there is a lot of these smaller like segments around, like on a website, you want to be more informative. You want to be maybe informing maybe a little bit too much sometimes, where when you optimize towards an answering machine like that, you want to basically create FAQs. You want to be very specific, very answer centered. So the sentences need to be shorter. You need to have less text there, but also like answer the question directly. Don't fade away from what the question is actually about. And the answer is actually about answer directly. One line is fine. It's completely fine. You can actually do that, and you can get a result into a SearchGPT. That's some of the different things that we can do. And it's definitely something that it's been an acronym since spring. So I think we
missed out.
Been there. Yeah, it's been there actually since 2023. I think I saw some articles about it where they like first put it in to the but now it's the new shiny object because of SearchGPT, obviously. Like it is every SEO are running towards AEO and saying this is the big one and SEO is dead. It's not.
No, let's wait. Let's
Spoiler
just
alert,
wait and
it's
see how
not.
much traffic decline we actually get from Google.
Exactly.
I just want to be careful here
But
because
the
the
thing
fact
is
is,
that we can.
yeah, it's
It's
just
it's interesting. It's
it is.
interesting, and it's. I'm not saying SEO is dead because it's definitely not. This is going to be like sort of a subcategory within SEO. So just like we work with YouTube SEO, just like we work with TikTok SEO, and all these different like smaller search engines as well, local SEO within SEO. These different subcategories, subtopics within SEO. This is going to be another one. Like AEO is going to be another subtopic within it. How do we actually go into search? Because you mentioned it before, like SearchGPT, these different AI overviews, they're good for like very specific things at the moment. But there's still some results where you need a more informative text, and all that way you would rely on Google. Just like if you look at TikTok and YouTube, there's some specific topic, there's some specific niches or industries where that's really relevant, but there's also somewhere it's definitely not relevant. So let's see where this is heading. And I think it's interesting, and it's definitely an acronym that we need to consider. It's something that we need to think about, but I think still at the moment, SXO is still more important. Like it's still something that we need to.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
still
Well, I
the
think they
most
all
important
tie in.
acronym.
I mean, can we agree here that they all
It
kind of
does.
tie in? I remember when it was like, okay, we need to optimize for AEO views. A lot of that is just good old regular SEO, making good stuff. Like we're not trying to spam the internet here. We're just saying make something good. The fact is, what you're saying is let's be concrete and answer the question. Seems like that's quite just saying make good stuff here. Like think of the user as well. You don't want to know the entire history of pies before your pie recipe. All right, that might.
Surprise.
I don't. I'd really like to scroll past the story of my grandma and how she invented pies. Just give me the goddamn recipe. It's really
exactly. But that's the thing. Like a couple of years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, that was actually the best. Like not necessarily the best practice, but that was something that actually worked in the search engines. That you put more text into the website. You can see it with. Also, now you mentioned these recipe sites, for instance, where I know a couple, at least without mentioning any URLs on any websites here, where you where you see a lot of content that has absolutely nothing to do with the actual recipe, and then the recipe comes down in the banner, right? So that works. That's some of the best. I'm not going to mention any website here just for the sake of it, but there is definitely that worked in the past. I think we're going towards more helpful content now, and that's what the narratives have been for the past couple of years as well. This just proves it. Well, like we still need to, it's still good old fashioned SEO, and I still believe that technical
white
SEO,
hat, good old fashioned white hat SEO.
White hat.
Let's
very good. Very good. I think still it's really interesting, of course, to see where it's headed, and it's something that we're definitely going to keep an eye out for. But it's not revolutionary like some people might want. Some people just want the big headline, right? Yeah. Headline here, and that's apparently right now what we need to be looking at is AEO.
All right, cool. Great. Thank you, Casper. And thank you for listening, all of you. We will come with a video every week. Try and tie things back and forth. And the description will have, summaries and each link that we discussed here. And yeah, please like, subscribe, and put a comment if you feel like you want something different, maybe a different format, maybe you want us to open these articles, whatever you want. Just put a comment. If you didn't like it, put it as well. It won't hurt my feelings. I'm impenetrable. So yeah, have a great day, guys.